Good evening and welcome to this edition of Newsleader on 6. Today is Tuesday, June 20th, 2017. I'm Jim Fuller.
And I'm Andrew Todd. In tonight's news, 2 Coffee County deputies are seriously injured and an inmate is dead after an escape attempt. Members of the Southern Wheels in Motion Car Club celebrated their 25th birthday Saturday. We'll hear comments from Tom Wopat and John Schneider, who headlined that event. And Tom Corrington will speak with Dr. Dan Lawson, Director of Tullahoma City Schools, about the system's Chromebooks program. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's Newsleader on 6.
Welcome back. 2 Coffee County deputies are injured and an inmate is dead following an incident at the Coffee County Justice Center around 3 p.m. Monday. Michael Bell, age 37, who is facing several charges, including kidnapping and reckless endangerment, was being held in a holding cell on the 3rd floor when Deputy Wade Bassett arrived to return Bell to the Coffee County Jail. Bell attacked Deputy Bassett and during the struggle gained control of the deputy's firearm and shot him. Fortunately, the officer was wearing a bulletproof vest. Bell then proceeded to the 1st floor of the Justice Center where he shot Deputy Wendell Bowen, who was seated in the lobby of the center. Bell then fled the Justice Center to a nearby occupied home on Madison Street, which he exited and entered another unoccupied home on the street where he shot himself in the backyard of the residence. Bell later died from the self-inflicted wounds.
1 deputy was airlifted to Erlanger Hospital in Chattanooga, and the other was airlifted to Vanderbilt Medical Center in Nashville. Deputy Bowen underwent surgery last night. Both deputies are expected to recover. The Coffee County Justice Center was closed today in order for local authorities to assist the TBI in their investigation.
The Southern Wheels in Motion's 25th annual car show drew a record crowd last Saturday at Wagner Park in Tullahoma. Let's watch some of the sights and sounds from this year's show.
We'll be right back with more Newsleader on 6.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
Welcome back. Dukes of Hazzard stars Tom Wopat, Catherine Bach, and John Schneider were on hand to sign autographs at the Southern Wheels in Motion car show. Tom Wopat and John Schneider spoke to the press on Friday night. In this video, the two stars talk about how they got their roles in the hit show.
My acting experience prior to the audition for Dukes, you learn quickly that when producers and people who are casting something are very impressive, very short. Excuse me. They have a very short attention span, So they want whoever it is that they're looking for to walk in the door. You don't walk in the door as an actor and then prove you're a drunk, or you don't walk in the door as some guy from New York who's 18 and then try to prove that you're some guy from Snailville who's 24. So you walk in as that person. You give them what they want right away, because the old adage is you don't have a second chance to make a first impression. So that's what I had heard that another actor had done in Atlanta, where he actually came in and was auditioning for something and came in as the character and spit tobacco on the floor, where the script said he was supposed to spit tobacco. And he got a call back for that audition, and his agent said, please don't spit on the floor. So he came in and he had a newspaper, and when he auditioned the second time, he put the newspaper down on the floor. And what I heard is he spit at the newspaper and missed. And I know it's got to be true, because it was Sonny. It was Sonny Schroyer who played Enos. But this whole legend went around of that when people from California come to Georgia casting something, they think they know exactly what they want, so you better give it to them right away or forget it. So I was in fact 18 from Westchester County, New York, and I went and I told them I was 24 from Snailville, Georgia. And I brought a 6-pack of beer. And I offered them one. Because it had been a rough day, I've been working all day. It's a rough day, so you want a beer?
Sure.
You got one? Yeah.
I got some in the
So it worked. So there was deception and alcohol, but it was Pabst Blue Ribbon, so, you know.
PBR.
Everybody drank that to start with. It was cheap.
It
was cheap.
Yeah,
It was
right.
cheap.
It's a good beer.
What about you? How did you come to get it?
I auditioned for the part in New York City. I just finished a Broadway show called I Love My Wife, and then I did a short run of a show called Oklahoma in New York at Equity Library Theater.
Get away from you done your finger. You've been building. You smack it with a hammer.
These are both. It's a long story.
Okay.
So they gave me a script, and my agent actually I read for his part. And back in those days, no cell phones. I didn't have a phone in my humble little room that I had, so I call on a payphone to my answering service, and they said, so you're supposed to call your agent. I called my agent, and they said, you want to fly to LA tonight to audition, to go on tape? And I said, sure. So I got my paper bag full of clothes, and that's how I went to New York to LA. And when I got to LA, it had been a huge fire in the Sepulveda Pass.
There were 3 of them. Yeah, they were everywhere. It was smoke.
I flew into LA, and you could see below the clouds. All you could see was the fire. It was like flying into hell. There was the clouds, and there was orange underneath it. And I don't think I ever saw the mountain behind Warner Brothers when we were there. And
right.
Yeah, we were there for a couple of days, and we did the screen test, and they decided they gave up, and they gave us the parts.
John Snyder, who had 4 #1 country hits in the early 80s, also talked about his latest album.
I have not recorded a record since I left MCA, really, in '89, I think. Oddly enough, that last song was called You Ain't Seen the Last of Me. Well, you ain't. So last year we had 2 really terrible floods in Louisiana. One that came right up to the threshold of our house, and the second one came right up to the threshold of the silverware drawer in the house. So it was awful. March and August of last year. And it was actually Alicia who'd been saying you really should do music again, do more music, because she has so much fun when we do music. Mm-hmm. And it was her notion to get some writers together on our cell phones. I wrote with a friend of mine in Los Angeles and another friend in Louisiana, and we wrote songs about what had happened during that time. And they're really great. They're not all the things I've done before. I had several #1 songs, and I really appreciate them, and they're terrific songs, but they weren't part of my soul. They were things that from out there that touched me in some way. Well, these are songs that from in here that touched me in a huge way, because I lived through this terrible time, as did everyone I know. We had a shared tragedy. Shared devastation is different than really anything else. I'd never lived through anything like that. So that's what this record is called, Ruffled Skirts. And that is in reference to two things. One is the skirts on the bottom of a double wide trailer, and the water had come through and washed about every other panel out. So the skirts, Alicia said, oh look, their skirts are ruffled. And it was, oh hey, huh, that's good. And then we had a number of dealings with an organization called FEMA, and that will ruffle your skirt too.
For different reasons, right?
For an entirely different reason, yeah.
We'll be right back after these messages.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Welcome back. Eli Ensor, a 16-year-old musician from Atlanta who has benefited from the Bonnaroo-funded Notes for Notes program, performed the U2 hit With or Without You at the recent Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Eli Ensor. Super excited to be here. I'll be doing a song for you guys tonight. Again, I'm really honored to be here. I'm a 16 years old artist based out of Atlanta, Georgia. This is my first time at Bonnaroo, actually, so I'm loving it. It's awesome. Very fun. The song I'll be doing is With or Without You. Hope you guys like it. Your eyes, see the thorns twisting your side. I'll wait for you. Sleight of hand and twist of fate, made of nails, she makes me wait. And I'll wait. Without you, with or without you. Through the storm, we reached the shore. She gave it all, but I want more. And wait. Without you, with or without you, I can't live. With or without you, and to give yourself away, and to give yourself away. Are tired, my body's bruised, she's left me with nothing to win and nothing left to lose.
And more Newsleader on 6 is coming up in a moment.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation!
It's gonna be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor too when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
Welcome back. Tom Corrington spoke with Dr. Dan Lawson, director of Tullahoma City Schools, about the progress of the school's Chromebooks program.
You're now providing, I guess, you're still using the Chromebook.
Yes, sir.
For every student 3 through 12.
3 through 12.
And they've all got them. And they all take them home with them if they choose.
Yes,
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And are they being abused? How's that working? Are you having a big replacement problem? Anybody?
Yeah, it's working like abuse of any property works.
Mm-hmm.
Some take great care, and some may treat the device like it's a expendable item. We purchased with a service contract that took care of those devices. Part of citizenship is learning to take care of property, and we have some who do an exceptional job, and we have some who don't. And it's just like a textbook in terms of those who care for it, care for their textbooks, and those who don't do such a good job treat it just like they would a textbook.
And probably the textbook they tore up cost more than the Chromebook, huh?
When we're looking at a $100 textbook, it just takes 2 or 3 of those to equal a price of that Chromebook. Yes, sir.
We're just about to run out of time, folks, and there's one other thing we wanted to make sure we touch on. Susan, tell them about your regional summit this summer. What's coming?
Tullahoma City Schools is hosting a Go Open Regional Summit, to where we have extended an invitation to school systems within Tennessee and beyond its boundaries. We will have district leaders and teachers leaders coming to our school at Tullahoma High School and learning about open educational resources, how to find those resources, how to develop those resources, how to deliver those resources from a teacher perspective, but also from an administrative perspective. We're going to talk about creating your own vision and how to implement your vision, and some of the successes and some of those things that we had to change along the way.
How many folks are you expecting, and who's paying the bill?
We are expecting over 200 participants, and we are getting close to that mark now. And we have some vendors that have contributed to helping us sponsor this event.
Okay. Dan, you got something quickie you want to put out to the folks?
Almost always. I think what I would like to have folks clearly understand is that technology is not about replacing skilled, loving teachers with a digital box. Instead, it's about finding ways to better connect our students with the world around them and with things of interest to them. And as they find those ways, our teachers have the opportunity to interface more personally with our students, and we think that's really valuable to us. I don't want a perception to exist that a teacher sits back and there's no personal interaction.
Yeah, okay.
And don't forget to tune into this week's Living Show tonight at 6:30 p.m., Thursday morning at 9 a.m., and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings at 6:30 p.m. This week's guests include Jackie Duncan with a list of several events coming to the Tullahoma area. Winston Brooks will also come by and give us all the details of Tullahoma's Independence Day celebration, and we'll have our full report on the 2017 Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival. All that and more on this week's Living.
And stay with us. We'll have your weather forecast right after these messages.
The Russell Barnett Automotive family has launched its new Owner Advantage program. It starts as simple as your first year's maintenance is included with the purchase. We have 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plans available. Car detailing, car rental, collision repair. Stop by one of our 5 locations and let one of our certified sales staff tell you all about it. The Russell Barnett Automotive Family Advantage program. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Everyday miracles at Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1935 at 98 degrees. The record low was in 1935 at 51 degrees. The average high on this day is 87 and the average low is 63. Partly cloudy weather expected tonight with a low of around 61. Partly cloudy weather again in the forecast for Wednesday with a high of 83 and a low of 68. And on Thursday, there's a 60% chance of storms with a high of 77 and a low of 70. And that's our Newsleader report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for Newsleader on 6. You have a good evening.
Have a great evening.